of the former hostages. Here is NBC correspondent Lee McCarthy at Stewart Airport near West Point.
The planes carrying the relatives of the ex-hostages began arriving at Stewart Field at 1:10 Eastern Time. There were 159 people aboard the 3 Air Force planes. They flew here after meeting with President Reagan at the White House in Washington. They are now in the white hangar off in the distance where they will stay until they are reunited with their loved ones. The hostages are expected to arrive here within the hour. We will have continuing coverage throughout the day. Now to NBC Sports and college basketball.
I hear you. Network will be joining us live.
NBC Sports presents the best of college basketball. Today it's the Buckeyes of Ohio State versus the Virginia Cavaliers. Brought to you by Dial It National Sports. For a fast update on the national sports scene, dial 900-976-1313. By Texaco, with over 66,000 employees doing their best at their jobs to keep your trust. By Chevrolet and your Chevrolet dealers from coast to coast. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. You've got the time, we've got the beer. University Hall, Charlottesville, Virginia, sold out as the #2 team in the country, unbeaten Virginia, goes against the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Crickey. A great Sunday for all Americans as 52 Americans come home. NBC News will be updating you on that. Right now, we have college basketball, a great intersectional matchup. And then it's on to the biggest game of all, Super Bowl 15 in New Orleans at NBC's coverage. Right now, it's basketball and a top game. I'm joined by Coach Al McGuire and by Billy Packer. Billy, these Buckeyes from Ohio State have started to roll now. They look like a real good club.
Well, they are a great basketball team, a very powerful front line, maybe the most powerful in all of college basketball. Herb Williams in the middle is going to give Mr. Sampson a rough go today.
Well, Sampson's the guy they're all talking about, the 7'4" center for the Virginia Cavaliers. Al McGuire, how good is he?
Well, he plays like a forward. He's mobile. He can stick it from 18 feet out. But the key thing he does, he intimidates. He psychs the other team out. So today, as you're watching the program, watch how many walks he makes, how many turnovers he creates by people walking.
Ohio State's got a lot of muscle. They play strong.
The key to this game is, will the refs blow a slow whistle or a fast whistle? If they let the game play, Virginia will lose. If they let the game be more timid, then Virginia will win.
Well, we're going to find out very shortly as the Buckeyes of Ohio State, fresh off a win last night, come against unbeaten Virginia.
It's an old dream. But some men still dream it.
All bad.
Take your chains off. Put her to sleep.
It's Miller time.
Miller time. Time to head in for the best tasting beer you can find.
When it's time to relax,
America's quality beer.
one beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, Miller's got the beer.
Chic Super 2 announces
Macho Shave. The Super 2 for the Macho Shave.
Don't just get close. Get macho close with the new Super 2. Each twin blade home to the ultimate sharp for shaves so close they're
Macho close.
Fits Atra and Track 2 razors.
Macho Shave.
get macho close with
New Super 2.
At Atari, our game cartridges undergo grueling tests. We put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up against Atari basketball.
Oh, man, what a move.
We let Mario Andretti test drive Atari Night Driver.
This game really cracks me up.
And the great Pele himself tested Pele's championship soccer.
What a gig, it beat me again.
At Atari, we take our games seriously, so you have more fun.
How'd you do, Kareem?
I'm glad I won't face Atari in the playoffs.
No other video game company stacks up to Atari.
It seems like life is tougher now than ever. And when the pressure's on, my job, my family, prices, I can get a rotten headache.
Life got tougher, and we got stronger. Announcing new Excedrin, unsurpassed strength with the two most powerful pain relievers you can buy, and a third ingredient that may make them work even harder on your headache.
On a tough day like this, I'm glad there's new Excedrin.
Life got tougher, and we got stronger. In capsules and new tablets, new extra strength Excedrin.
Al McGuire and Billy Packard. This is Don Crickey back at University Hall, and let's right now go down for the introduction to the Buckeyes of Ohio State.
6'9" senior from Cleveland, Ohio, Jim Smith. Number 33 at forward, 6'7" sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio, Clark Kellogg.
That's Special K.
Number 32, center, 6'10" senior from Columbus, Ohio, Herb Williams.
Best center in the Big Ten.
Number 15, guard, 6'2", senior from Barberton, Ohio, Carter Scott. And at guard, number 62, sophomore from Port Washington, Ohio, Larry Huggins. And now, introducing the Cavaliers of the University of Virginia. Number 25 at forward, 6'5" senior from Louisville, Lee Raker. Number 10 forward, 6'9" sophomore from Montclair, Craig Robinson.
He has to have a good game today,
Number
Craig Robinson, for Virginia
center,
to win.
7'4" senior from Harrisonburg, Virginia, Ralph Sampson.
Potentially the greatest basketball player in the world.
6'4" junior from Owensboro, Kentucky, Jeff Jones.
Hard-nosed player, probably used up his 5 fouls.
All-American senior from Prior Lake, Minnesota, Jeff Lamp. And the head coach for the Cavaliers of Virginia, Terry Howland.
We are just about set to go. The Virginia Cavaliers, 15-0 on the year, a 19-game winning streak dating back to last season, and ready to defend against Ohio State. Back in a moment.
It's your skin, baby, and I like it very, very smooth. That means a super close shave. So trust Noxzema, because you'll need all the soothing comfort you can get. Like I said, it's your skin, baby, and I like it very, very, very smooth. That feel good? For shaves this close, trust Noxzema. It's your skin, baby.
Introducing the 1981 Chevy Malibu Sport Sedan, a solid, sensible car with a 6-passenger interior, impressive V6 mileage, a comfortable ride, plus a little something sensible cars are not ordinarily known for. Chevrolet introduces the Malibu Sport Sedan, a 4-door with a difference, a 4-door with pizzazz.
There's Eldon Miller, coach of Ohio State. Turned that team right around. Came in now in his 5th year. Great college player at Wittenberg, disciplinarian. Great tactician, likes the man-to-man defenses. Doesn't go to that zone too much, and he's got a lot of muscle up front. His counterpart, Terry Holland, a graduate of Davidson, who now coaches Virginia in his 7th season. He has a team that's very much a contender for the national championship, and led by what Al just referred to as potentially the greatest player ever, in Ralph Sampson.
Well, he has a long way to go. He needs weight and maturity, but he has no Achilles heel in his package. He can score from outside, he's mobile, and plays good D.
Here's the tap as Virginia and White knocks it down court. Jeff Lamp loses the ball, and the Buckeyes of Ohio State start up the floor with it. Huggins working in the back line. Art Schleister, the Ohio State quarterback, is here. The Buckeyes flew in this morning after beating Michigan at Columbus last night, 69-63, their 2nd consecutive Big Ten win. Ohio State coming to this game tied for the Big Ten lead at 4-2, 9-5 on the season. Going up in the air is big Herb Williams. He gets the roll, and the Buckeyes are on the board. Billy?
Williams took Sampson outside that time. You've got to respect his jump shot. It's going to be Jim Smith on Lamp. That's going to be quite a matchup there.
Ball inbounded, but taken by Sampson as he comes over the top. Williams rejects it from behind and also fouls Ralph Sampson.
I think, now this may sound crazy, but I think that should have been a goaltending violation, and I'll tell you why. The ball was headed down as he was releasing. Let's see it. We don't quite have it there, but obviously anything Sampson shoots from that distance has got to be going down.
You know, from the top of the show, I like what Ohio State's doing. They're putting Smith down in the paint. They're not letting him go out to the forward position. If Ohio State is going to go to the Final Four, Jim Smith must play constantly in the paint.
There's what I was talking about right there. The ball was released and going down.
Well, Sampson gets them both from the line, and the Cavaliers have tied the game at 2. Super Bowl Sunday on NBC. Following this top matchup, we'll be going to New Orleans.
Half-court zone trap with Sampson back underneath is the safety man.
Carter Scott, who's taken over as the point guard for Ohio State. They missed Kelvin Ramsey, who, as you know, graduated. He led Ohio State in the back line last year. Buckeyes got started slow. They had 4 starters back. Ramsey was sorely missed, and now Carter Scott started to take over, directing the offense. Here's a charge call going against Ohio State. Ball goes over to Virginia.
You've got to watch these calls early because it's going to determine who wins this ball game. If they're blowing that fast whistle on the baseline, I say the Cavaliers will end up on top.
With Jim Smith on Lamp, Lamp would have a little bit of a step on him, but Smith is an incredible defender. We'll see if Lamp tries to keep him away from the basket area.
Last season when these two teams played, Ohio State was a 70-65 winner, out-muscled Virginia.
Second foul on Williams, trying to stop Sampson's turnaround jumper. That really would put Ohio State in trouble. And Al, here's what you're talking about, the quick whistle. Sampson goes up, Williams got him right on the wrist.
Well, what's going to happen now, Eldon Miller probably put Smith on Sampson or go to a zone. But I feel he'll probably swing Smith onto him. They have to protect Herb Williams.
Sampson gets it up and down. He's a sophomore, as you know. There was a lot of talk about him coming out, going to professional basketball last year. He elected not to.
He's only shooting 60% from the foul line. Should be much higher than that because he has a great release. Here we go back to the 1-3-1 half-court trap. Virginia plays it well.
18:30 to play in the first half. UVA, Virginia, number 2 and unbeaten, leading 4-2. Ohio State gets it down low to Clark Kellogg. Great sophomore from Cleveland, hits it off the baseline, and the game is tied at 4.
I like the way Kellogg can pull it up from the outside. I feel he should move inside, but he cannot move inside when Jim Smith's in the game. Because if Smith goes to the corner, they'll float off.
Look out. Sampson getting it inside.
Greg Robinson, a sophomore forward from Montclair, New Jersey, follows the shot, taps it in, and Virginia takes the lead 6-4.
Williams dribble that ball.
6'10", 230, feeding off inside, and Smith, who doesn't shoot a great deal, gets it inside. The Buckeyes have tied, and they can break the tie now. Smith will go to the line.
Here's Sampson making his roll hook. Williams stays with him pretty good. Carter Scott came back and made a foul. There's Robinson following up, and obviously you've got to keep the other fellas, the weak side rebounders from Virginia off because you put so much pressure on when Sampson's got the ball.
Roll hook, that was a sky hook.
Jim Smith it.
So Jim Smith breaks the tie, and the Buckeyes now lead the game 7-6 with 17:48 to play in the first half. Here's Jeff Lamp, who's been a great player for 4 seasons at Virginia.
He's led Virginia in scoring the last 3 years.
And he's going to become one of a handful of ACC players to go over 2,000 career points before this season's out. He'll be one of 12. Here's Sampson following.
Oh, blocked beautifully by Smith. Sampson hurt his ankle. Beautiful block by Jim Smith. Sampson's really limping.
Ralph Sampson trailing the play, injured his left ankle, and whether or not he can stand, we'll have to see. Right now, he's out of the ball game. He's on the floor, but he's not able to move. So the Cavaliers and Coach Terry Holland call a timeout as their big man, Ralph Sampson, comes off with a bad ankle.
This was a great rebound by Sampson above everybody, but Jim Smith shows you how great a leaper. And there Sampson came down. He just stepped on it and twisted it a little bit. He's really limping.
What he did, Bill, he came down on Craig Robinson's foot. If you show that over again, you'll see it.
So early in the game, Virginia has an adverse development. We'll be back.
Is Gillette Foamy thick and rich enough to restrain this rushing roller coaster? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to support this lovely lady? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to hold up this husky hiker?
No. But if you want a clean, close shave, it's more than thick and rich enough.
Back at Virginia, 17 minutes to play in the first half. Ohio State a 9-6 leader over Virginia. Ralph Sampson, All-American center of the Virginia Cavaliers, went out of the game with an ankle injury. Didn't appear to be too serious. Hope to see him back. Here's a travel call on Kellogg, and the Cavaliers get it back.
Don, Virginia did not take a timeout there. Instead, they substituted with Lewis Lattimore. Sampson has gone to the dressing room, so he's not even on the bench right now.
Louis Lattimore, big 6'10" center, comes in to replace Ralph Sampson. Jones gets it down low to Lattimore, who goes up and over the Ohio State defense, something that Ralph Sampson was having a problem doing. It's a 9-8 game, Ohio State. Buckeyes driving. Carter Scott pulls up. And the rebound kept off and taken down.
Lattimore playing the game of his life here in 30 seconds.
Well, every day he faces Ralph Stick Sampson in practice.
Lattimore tearing it up. They go to the line on that one. Lattimore with consecutive field goals. He was fouled on the last one. Virginia takes the lead 10-9.
That was Lattimore again. He grabbed a rebound down on one end of the floor, hustled down court, got the ball on the boards, and put it back up for a chance for a three-pointer.
Well, they were saying he get very frustrated in practice, so he might have a slight happiness over Ralph Stick Sampson just stepping out for a while.
It must be something every day seeing a guy 7'4" swatting him down to your face. Just finally look at a man that's 6'10" and say, what a relief.
That's a good point. That's like Nader playing behind Walton at UCLA.
Back to the zone defense, 1-3-1. Look for Kellogg down the corners against his zone. Kellogg over the back.
Kellogg called for the foul, and now with an 11-9 lead, Virginia gets the ball inbounds.
Don, Clark Kellogg may be one of the best offensive rebounders ever to come along in college basketball.
And they say he's got better this year. He's a powerhouse forward, big and 6'8", 228 pounds. Right now, Virginia's rallied back behind the play of Louis Lattimore, taking a 2-point lead.
Read it back. That package must be here by spring of '76, or the proposition is terminated.
That is telling them.
Tell him I gotta have the package in 3 months or forget the whole thing.
I need it 2 weeks. You got it? 2 weeks.
I need it tomorrow.
Just when the need for Federal Express came along came Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
Dial it as national sports news. It's new, it's rational just to call National Sports for all the latest reports. We're talking national sports news. We've got it all. 900, what a wonderful call. 900-976-1313. 900-976-1313. Dial it. We're talking to you.
On NBC Sports World, see the terrifying speed of World Cup downhill skiing. Plus, the World Pro Figure Skating Championships continue, and World Women's Powerlifting Championships next Sunday.
Don Crickey with Al McGuire and Billy Packer back at University Hall in Virginia. Ralph Sampson, injured on this play, has left the court, twisted his ankle. He's being taped now. Al, how will he come back if he does come back?
I think you might see him back the first half, but the problem is when he stops sweating at halftime and you start getting cold, to come back the top of the second half will be very difficult if it's a serious injury, which we don't know at the present time.
Carter Scott on Jeff Jones. This is what really helped Ohio State in Columbus last year, was the great quickness of Scott on Jones down the stretch.
Lee Raker, a veteran senior forward, gets the ball out. Here's Lamp firing from the outside. Raker pounds inside, gets the offensive board, loses it, and it goes back to the Buckeyes.
That was Lamp's first shot, and you saw the quickness of Jim Smith. You never get off a clean jumper when he's on you because the guy is cat-like.
We got a long way to go, and of course, at game's end, we'll be picking a player to receive the Most Valuable Player Award, Scholarship Award.
Man-to-man now by Virginia. They changed on the timeout.
Down low, Kellogg goes to the baseline, hemmed in by 2. Virginia players gets it out to Scott. Carter Scott looping the ball, but Jim Smith never saw it coming over the top.
It's such an important point. I want to say it once more. Eldon Miller made a tremendous adjustment since we had him last week in a ball game against Indiana. Keeping James Smith in the paint is the way for Ohio State to move uptown.
Here you watch Smith on Lamp. Really great to watch, an outstanding defensive player.
Lattimore out to Robinson. Here's Jeff Lamp. They go to him for the points a lot. He'll put the ball up.
They put Williams on Robinson instead of having him down and low on Lattimore to save him with the 2 fouls he has on.
Right now we're told, Al and Billy, that there's a doctor examining Ralph Sampson. And ankle injury suffered very early in this game. We have 14:45 to play in it as Lamp takes it inside against all that Ohio State muscle. He gets the shot away and gets fouled on the play.
One of the smart things that Jeff Lamp can do right now is try to draw fouls on Smith. Lamp, as everybody knows, one of the nation's best free throw shooters. Here comes Sampson out again. He's walking a lot better coming back than he did going out. Nice gesture by Herb Williams there, shaking his hand.
I still believe that the question is not now. The question is the start of the second half.
Herb Williams, as Billy was pointing out, when Ralph Sampson walked by, reached over and shook his hand. So Sampson goes to the bench, was walking all right, started to trot a little bit as he came down the sideline.
Here's Otho Wilson in the ball game now, and Todd Penn in the ball game. So both coaches trying to match up with their super quick players.
Jeff has the record in the ACC for consistent made foul shots, 48.
He hit 48 in a row last year. That was the first miss of the day for Virginia. They're now 6 of 7 from the line and have a 3-point lead, 12-9.
Here's Wilson and Penn. Boy, two fellas that can fly.
Sampson just told one of his teammates he's okay for him, so hopefully we'll see Ralph Sampson. But in his absence, Lewis Lattimore's done a big job with 5 points. That's Herb Williams, the all-Big Ten center for the Buckeyes, putting the bucket up. And it's now a 12-11 game, Virginia by 1.
If they want to play Ralph, they got to get him right back in there by relatively warm.
He's down on the sideline, so he's coming back into the first break in action.
Jeff Lamp takes it inside against Jim Smith, jumps over him. Can't get it to go. Rebound comes down to Clark Kellogg. Comes Williams to the center. Now 10. Carl goes for Ohio State. They'll inbound the ball.
Well, that's the second time that Williams showed what he can do in the open court area handling that ball. Incredible for a man his size.
Big ovation was for Lewis Lattimore in his brief stead there in place of Ralph Sampson. He is the leading scorer in the game with 5 quick points.
Ralph Sampson plays better on the move. He's hard to fake out, and he can go up 2 or 3 times in a row for a rebound.
2-3 zone now with Sampson back in the game, planted right under the basket.
Sagging off on the big guy, Ralph Sampson. And there on Herb Williams. Ohio State with that good ability to hit the offensive board, and Kellogg, the Big Ten leading rebounder, gets it and puts it back up and foul.
No, I think he was walking. They called a jump ball situation.
Super Bowl Sunday, the Raiders and the Eagles, many of them no doubt watching this game. Those last hours passed before the biggest game in football, and you see it on NBC. They'll be switching right to New Orleans at 4 o'clock Eastern time for a Super Bowl pregame, special of 2 hours, and then 6:05 kickoff in the biggest game in football. From the outside, Huggins drills it for the Buckeyes, and they take the lead 13-12.
That shows you what a good passer with some height can do. Kellogg just threw the ball over the top of the zone cross court that time, giving Huggins the jumper.
Greg Robinson now comes out of the game. Terry Gates is in the ball game for the Virginia Cavaliers. They make some changes. They'll switch their lineup around. Sometimes they go to a smaller lineup, move Jess Lamp up to forward. LA have a big weightlifting program here at Virginia. They have their players lifting weights even during the season. Heavy weights. What's your opinion on this?
I don't like too much weightlifting. I feel that it affects your quickness. I think it's being overdone. Kentucky started all this about 8 years ago, and they copied it from the Europeans. I prefer more just light weightlifting and stay kind of mobile.
Looks like Granville Waiters is going to come into ball game for Williams. Eldon Miller not wanting Williams to get that 3rd foul here in the first half.
They get the ball down low, does Ohio State to Williams.
Let's see if he's going to go in for Williams or he's going in for... Yep. Williams coming out.
That's the 3rd team foul.
Good goal.
So Huggins will inbound the ball now for Ohio State. Jim Smith, Granville Waiters in the game along with Clark Kellogg and a small guard, a 5'10" backcourt player, Todd Penn. Down low they go. Big Jim Smith. Wilson, a freshman, led his team to the Virginia State Championship at Woodbridge High School. He's played in 40 consecutive games without a loss. Man with the ball, his high school team was 25-0, and his Cavalier team now 15-0.
That's a foul that Jim Smith really didn't want to pick up. Lamp going about 30 feet away from the basket. He wants to save those. I think it's critical for him to stay in the game on Lamp.
Ohio State is playing its third game in 72 hours. They won at Minnesota on Thursday night, won last night over Michigan 69-63. Took a plane in here this morning.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. If they weren't such tremendous physical athletes, I don't know if you can handle that. How about the Big Ten, Don, yesterday? Incredible scores. Wisconsin beating Illinois down there. Iowa losing at home. Just quite a league and great competitive strength there.
And with yesterday's development, it catapulted Ohio State into a tie for the conference lead with a 4-2 record. Rebound down to Sampson. Big guy looks for the outlet man. Goes to Oathville Winslow. Now they come up court down to Jones. Lamp playing off the baseline. Down low, here's Sampson against Granville Waiters. Ralph Sampson gets the roll.
This is what we can expect to see the next few minutes. Virginia already in a 1-and-1 situation, and going to Sampson inside. Going to be tough with this changed lineup for Ohio State.
Sampson's now the leading scorer with 6 points.
Ball's loose.
Pin went into the land of the Giants.
And the Giant came up with it, Ralph Sampson. Virginia, very controlled team, very disciplined team.
They'd be smart to wait on Sampson, get in position now.
They got to get the ball to Lamp. Lamp has to score here. Let him. Now they're going back into Sampson.
Forget it.
There's no way you stop that. He's shooting down at the basket. The sweeping sky hook of Ralph Sampson, and Virginia rallies from behind now to take a 16-13 lead. They were down 13-12 not that long ago.
I think that shot would put Ohio State into his zone.
Giving Kellogg the outside.
Sampson again up and over the rim. Outlet pass goes to Lamp, one-on-one with Larry Huggins. Lamp takes it down low, goes to the basket, doesn't get it.
Oh, nice tap. A good try that time by Jones.
But Virginia comes up empty, and here comes the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Todd Penn's going to set it up from the back line.
Good move by Todd that time. Set up, wait till your aircraft carriers get down there.
Yeah, you picked your all-time all-aircraft carrier team. We want to get into that a little bit later.
All right.
Sampson might be a contender. Granville Waiters goes up and taps it in off the backboard. They get into the 16-15 game.
Big basket. They call him the Big G.
That's really nice to see guys come in off the bench. Lattimore did it when Sampson was out. Now Waiters is doing it with Williams out.
I like the people out there to think who I put on the starting 5 of my all-aircraft carrier team. I picked 5 guys and I picked 1 alternate. So we'll give you to the second half to decide who they are, and then we'll lay it on you.
Now this goes way back to the 40s, from the 40s on.
Oh, you'd say, tell him to.
Oh, that's a foul. Kirchner got knocked down. Virginia retains the ball.
Foul is on Terry Gates. Oathville Wilson goes to the side court, finds it open, takes a 15-foot shot, sets it right down, and Virginia again leads by 3, 18-15.
One of the things this press is doing is bringing Kellogg way outside to handle the ball, which keeps him off the boards.
Waiters gets it out to Penn.
Right for the baseline drive.
Stokes, freshman, in there against him. Out to Waiters.
Oh, what a rebound.
Sampson, what agility.
He'd be a ball player at 6'2".
That's what they say. If he's 6'2" or 6'3", he'd still be a great player. He has so much ability. Just to handle the ball.
All right, need a timeout right now.
Waiters turned his back to find Sampson. He was so preoccupied and didn't realize Raker was there.
Boy, can Sampson move. Wow.
That's what you call motoring.
He can motor. We'll be back to watch more of it in a moment.
Texaco's Metropolitan Opera broadcasts, the longest-running sponsored program in radio history. Bringing opera to people who can't get to the opera.
Can you drive that well?
Texaco, your ticket to the opera for over 40 years.
I'll tell you, I was a born soccer player. Did everything with my feet. Took out the rubbish with my feet, made the bed with my feet, drove my mum crazy. But I finally found something I enjoy doing with my hands, drinking light beer from Miller. Light has 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, but what really makes me happy is the taste. It's terrific. Now, my mum should be happy too. Look, Mum, no feet.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
From New Orleans, it's Super Bowl 15 as the explosive Oakland Raiders take on the high-flying Philadelphia Eagles. Coverage begins later today at 4 p.m. Eastern on NBC.
The latest report from NBC News, touchdown time at Stewart Airport in Westchester County, New York. 2:50 today, Eastern Time. The 52 former hostages come home.
For that replay right there, fans saw that Sampson is not only tall, he has great fundamentals. Now, he's from Harrisonburg, Virginia. Must have had good coaching or excellent exposure, because the two-handed chest pass after the rebound was just absolutely perfect.
Carter Scott back in the game, comes streaking down the court for the Buckeyes. They've got some small people in the back line now, more speed, and they've got muscle up front. Jim Smith knocks the ball loose, and Terry Gates comes up with it for Virginia.
Smart move by Eldon Miller to bring back Smith and Williams, because the game getting away from him a little bit.
Virginia extends its lead to 7, biggest of the game, 22-15.
And back picking up full court, using Williams to handle the ball.
Jeff Lamp has some style on his shot, doesn't he, Bill?
He does, but he's not playing now. That was Rake.
Rake,
but they grew up together, so they shoot a lot alike. Just playing with you.
3 of these players from Ballard High School in Louisville. Outside, popping it up as Todd Penn hits it for Ohio State.
Ooh, that was a big shot, a tough time in the game. Down 7 points.
Got a lot of confidence in a very good athlete.
Terry Gates on the outside goes to the freshman Wilson. Sampson are sagging off on him, going across the lane to either side.
Trying to get it in there to get Williams that 3rd foul. Notice how Virginia's going to take 1 or 2 chances to get him on there. Oh, nice fade. Oh, what a play. What a play. That was a move for a guy 6'5".
Yeah.
What a player.
Gave him a nice little head and shoulders fake, little eye fake, just moved his head a little bit.
Sampson starting to tear it up. That ankle's fine. He has 10 points, hit his last 3 shots. As the Cavaliers have opened up again, the 7-point lead, 24-17, with 8:30 to play in the first half.
You're going to see he steps outside. Al, you pointed this out at the top of the show. He's tough from 20 feet. You've got to play him from there. Great head fake. Then he uses the board on the jumper. That's just a sensational play.
A good look on the replay. Our producer today for NBC is Kenneth Edmondson. Our director, John Gonzalez. As we have 8:30 left to play in the first half on Super Bowl Sunday from University Hall, Charlottesville, Virginia. The Virginia Cavaliers leading Ohio State 24-17. Down low to Williams. Lots of muscle, but Sampson's there. Slaps the ball away. Kellogg got it off the offensive board. Couldn't get the shot. Here comes Lamp. One out.
Oh, what an athlete.
Carter Scott from behind.
That was a tough thing to do.
That was an incredible thing to do. And he came from behind. What an athlete. They better hope in the Super Bowl there's some defensive backs that can handle themselves like that. Oh, look at this throw.
Loop pass into Sampson. The big guy jumps over everybody and slams it on down. And UVA opens up a 9-point lead.
Simple alley-oop.
Last year, Ohio State out-muscled Virginia under the boards. They're not doing it today, as Sampson's much more physical than he was as a freshman a season ago.
He's making them all hesitate underneath. They know Sampson's there at 7'4", and they're hesitating as they come in, and they're putting up bad shots.
There's that lob pass, and he out of bounds. Throwing it down.
So a break in the action, 7:53 to play in the first half. UVA 26, Ohio State 17.
Out here, temperatures can plummet below 0 and snow can be waist deep. Out here and everywhere, you'll find Chevy Citation, America's best-selling front-wheel drive. Citation's traction works hard to pull you through weather hardly fit for man nor beast. With that kind of traction and this kind of room, Citation can help pull you and your load of Huskies through the winter. Chevy Citation, one of man's best friends.
Chevy Citation.
It works.
A bright red fire truck, a blue calliope, a yellow moon, a pink balloon, a golden Dixie jamboree. Yes, America's true colors come through on GE.
GE TV brings you America's true colors, vivid and lifelike. And with GE's special VIR2 circuit, the color is automatically adjusted.
Yes, America's true colors come through on GE. GE, we bring good things to life.
Next Saturday, see 5th ranked Kentucky, led by 7'1" Sam Bowie, take on Georgia, or Nevada, Las Vegas battle Georgetown, followed by exciting regional action. Check local listings.
With Al McGuire and Billy Packer, this is Don Crickey back at the University of Virginia with the nation's #2 team, UVA. The Cavaliers of Virginia are leading Ohio State 26-17. Virginia coming into the game with a 15-0 record. Oregon State, the #1 team, was a victor last night over Washington. So Oregon State's record goes to 15-0.
Set play. Oh! Set play. That was a set play with a high screen at the foul line. That ball had no business being caught. What a play.
I thought it might have caught the backboard even, Bill.
I was afraid of it hitting the ceiling.
Ralph Sampson with 14 points. Also has 5 rebounds and 2 block shots, and here come the Cavaliers again. Jeff Jones, very controlled guard. Goes to Sampson, he's putting on a show, and Ralph Sampson does it again, and Virginia opens up a 13-point lead.
I'm just going to stop speaking for a while and just watch Ralph. He's the whole story so far.
I think Ohio State should get the ball to Williams some. He got to make Sampson slow down a little bit on some end of the court.
Kellogg pulls up. Excellent shot by Clark Kellogg. Ohio State needing a field goal badly gets one from sophomore Clark Kellogg. It's 30-19 Virginia.
Setting up another set play. You can see him spreading it out.
And there he goes around for the alley-oop again.
Oh, they set the set screen, and Raker got caught that time. It was the same play.
It's a blind pick. It was a good call.
Sampson's hit his last 6 field goals in a row.
That's the 6th team.
Well, some of them were kind of spectacular. There's the blind pick I was talking about.
Here's the play. That ball hit on top of the white, and he still got a piece of it.
I wonder if we could see that again. Hit on top of the block, but it did hit the backboard, Bill.
Yep, it hit the black. He actually caught it after it hit the backboard, which is a legal play.
6:25 to go in the first half. We're going to take another look at that spectacular alley-oop play in just a moment as Ohio State loses the ball. Lead pass to Otho Wilson ahead of the pack. He goes in and lays the ball in for Virginia.
Now that's a dimension Virginia didn't have last year. Wilson, although not a great basketball player, is a great athlete. He's got quickness, just made the clean breakaway.
Jim Smith, and again, the ball is taken back by Virginia's Craig Robinson. Back in the game, starts up court and draws a foul.
Ohio State has to regroup. They've got to sit down now and regroup. Here's that play again.
Perfect pass. Incredible play, Al. You're absolutely right. The ball hit the backboard first. Now that's the
illegal pick again. They got away with it.
See, the ball hits the board. He touches it. Probably an offensive goaltend.
I thought
probably
so,
an offensive goaltend, but I don't think officials are kind of like us. They'd have to say, hey, the guy really didn't do that.
That is about, I would say, Billy, about 18 inches above the rim.
That was Smith's 3rd foul, too. A very tough one.
Robinson can't get the free throw for Virginia. Here comes Ohio State trailing 32-19.
Ohio State, go slow. Good timeout. Go slow. Get back in the game. Stop hurrying.
Sampson comes over in the midst of a spectacular day. 16 points already and 6 rebounds. And we'll be back at University Hall in Virginia right after this.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
So long, fellas.
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
I'm hot, cold, thirsty. Call me a cab.
10 minutes, I'll have you back at the lodge.
I can't make it.
10 minutes, I'll have you back at the lodge drinking a Lowenbrow.
I can make it.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Where would I be without you guys?
Probably still out there in the snow somewhere.
Tim Braley, Brake Quality Inspector. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
Quality is the #1 priority at our plant because the brake is the most, as far as I'm concerned, the most vital part in the car. It's got to work every time. I feel that my job's got a lot of responsibility. If one bad brake got out, I'd feel terrible. I really would. I'm definitely not going to let that happen. I have a lot of pride in my job.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
Lucky Luciano, he had a dream for an underworld empire and 2 women who loved him. His story's told in the biggest television series of the season, Gangster Chronicles.
Second-ranked Virginia's play has been superb, particularly their All-American center, Ralph Sampson. Virginia has now hit its last 7 shots from the field and has taken a 13-point lead over Ohio State. Gene Corrigan, the longtime athletic director here at the University of Virginia, has left and has taken over for Moose Krause now as athletic director at Notre Dame. Somebody's got to sign up there, Billy. Billy Packer for athletic director. In the market?
Well, thank God, Billy, it's not basketball coach.
Gene Corrigan was happy yesterday. He's up at Notre Dame now at Ohio State. After that timeout, throws it away. I tell you, I'm happy to just have the job I got right now. I'll tell you what, this is the only place to be, and I know those football fans may get upset with that statement, but what an atmosphere to be in a Sunday afternoon.
Down low to Sampson. Out to Lamp. Great baseline player, and he takes it down to the line and hits it off the baseline, and Virginia opens up a 34-19 lead.
Now it's time now for Ohio State to try to come back slowly. They're trying to do too much too quick.
That's what I said earlier. Jeff Lamp is definitely a first-round draft choice next year.
Foul on. Oh, this is a foul on Williams. This is going to hurt. Setting an offensive screen, trying to get Kellogg loose on the baseline.
Williams.
That's his third. Now they've got to get him out right now because they go to Sampson inside against him to pick up the fourth early.
Well, if they do take him out, Billy, they've got to go to a zone.
I thought they might try that. They're a man-to-man team. I thought they might try that in the first half when he got those two quick ones.
You see, you're down 15 points now. That's a lot to be down, and possibly he hits these two.
He's a great free throw shooter. Has not been today, though.
Sampson again. Lamb, that was a goal. That was a technical foul on Lamb. He grabbed the rim.
He grabbed it so he wouldn't go down his back.
Well, it doesn't make any difference. Even if you're trying to protect yourself, you grab that rim, it's a technical foul.
Ralph Sampson got them all psyched out. They're all like hearing footsteps.
He is a presence down low.
University of Virginia has 50 in a row, and you count 5 last year where they won the National Invitation Tournament. They got 20-0, the longest winning streak in major college basketball.
That's Mitch Haas who hit that jumper from the side. He hadn't seen much playing time, but looked good on that jump shot.
Eldon Miller going to his bench. He has to. All the games this Ohio State team has played. Sampson has been a team. Ralph Sampson has dominated the game. He has already scored 20 points.
You know, he's doing it against Herb Williams, who's one of the premier centers in the United States.
Second-team All-American, Herb Williams.
Kellogg putting it up quickly.
Not a good shot. He's getting a little frustrated.
Ray Robinson goes behind the back for a lead pass.
Sampson wants the lob now.
I noticed he puts his hand up when he wants it, Bill.
Yeah, he wanted the lob on the fast break.
Puts that hand up. It's up around the rim.
I think they should go to Sampson, try to pick up that fourth. He wanted the ball, too. Sampson just slapped his wrist.
Bringing Williams out now. Granville Waiters is going back in.
Nice faking.
Talk about a franchise player.
Yeah. Shots as soft as church music.
I heard a guy the other day criticize Terry Holland in a paper up in Philadelphia area somewhere. Said that Terry Holland's trying to hide Sampson so that the pros don't realize how good a player he is. How hard would it be to hide him?
You feel he made a wise move, Al, staying?
No, staying I did, yeah. I thought that even though Red's a friend of mine, I thought he was wrong. Sampson's body's not ready for the pros. They would have blown his socks off. He would have sat on the bench for 82 games, and no one gets better on the bench.
Todd Penn with a second field goal a moment ago for Ohio State. Makes it a 38-23 game. Virginia by 15.
Virginia's starting to get a little lax offensively now. Taking some shots. They feel they've got to work in margin, but that was not a good shot by Lamb.
Well, that's a tendency with young people, Bill, when they have a 15-point lead.
Nothing much inside, but Ralph Sampson for Ohio State when they do penetrate. Todd Penn, the shortest player out there, can't get the jump shot to go in. Lamp fields the ball, slams it off the leg of a Buckeye, and comes back inbound to Virginia.
Intelligent move. The people that joined in late, Ralph Sampson hurt his ankle earlier in the game, was out for about 3 or 4 minutes at least.
Alan Billy, Super Bowl picks. What are they?
Oakland 27-17.
Well, I'm from Bethlehem, PA, and the last time that Philadelphia was there, Chuck Bednarik played 60 minutes. I don't know if he's going to get in the game today, but I'm going with Philadelphia.
You mean Chuck Bednarik?
I'm going with Oakland at halftime. Brian Gumbel down in New Orleans will have all the NBC football announcers making their selections as the biggest game in football is a few hours away now. And the Eagles and the Raiders. And those hours are long. Those night games are tough. 6 o'clock start, just the waiting. Just the waiting.
They're all breaking out right now in heat rash. Probably so. My buddies down there, Dick Enberg, Brian Gumble, and the rest of them.
All down there and ready. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, the NBC team ready to bring you Super Bowl 15. Right now, it's the Virginia Cavaliers putting on a show here in their home ball yard with a 38-23 lead.
I think you're finding Ohio State settling down a little bit now offensively, and Virginia taking some real chances down the other end, going one-on-one. I wouldn't be surprised to see Terry Holland set up a set play to make sure they get off some kind of a good shot.
Eldon Miller right now, the coach of Ohio State, looks up at that score. You're down by 15. He says, let's get in 9 down. That'd be good. If they can get in 9 down, they'll be in this ball game the second half.
Good rebound.
Big Ten's leading rebounder, Clark Kellogg, stepped on the baseline. Baskets negated.
I think the wins that Ohio State has had so far at Iowa and at Minnesota really show what kind of a ball club they have. At Iowa has lost at home, what, 2 times so far in the Big Ten?
You know, Billy, we never talk about the Southeastern Conference, and
LSU may be the #1 team in the nation.
They've got great clubs down there, and I was thinking about this last night. We never mentioned the Pac-10, I guess because we're ACC and Big Ten oriented. So,
well, we've had them on so far, I think.
Well, I think we got a little egg on our tie that way.
Up it goes, and Kerry Gates comes from off the play to tap it in for Virginia. We'll be switching to Stewart Airport very shortly as our 52 Americans return home from Wiesbaden, West Germany. 52 former hostages coming home today, and NBC News is there live to cover it. Announced touchdown time, 2:50 Eastern time.
That's Haas for the second time. Good-looking jumper.
He's helped them coming off the bench, but it's still Virginia by 15 points as the first half is down to 1:45 to play.
They're still playing Ralph man to man.
Yep, Waiters is really aggressive on him. I think they should just lob it up in there and see what kind of job Waiters can do up high.
Stokes puts it up. Sampson's there to follow it.
There's your job up high, Billy.
That's right. That's what I said. I don't think he can handle him up high.
17-point lead for Virginia. Ohio State has been a great road team under Eldon Miller. Has won more Big Ten road games in the last 5 years since Miller's been there than a team in the club in the conference. Now it's 42-27 after the field goal by Clark Kellogg.
What's so unique about Ralph Sampson that he spins either way, equally with no floor. It's like silk when he gets the ball. He can put the ball on the ground, which most big men cannot do.
Later on this season on NBC, you'll see Ralph Sampson matched up against DePaul and Mark McGuire. Here comes Stokes down the court on a break. And the ball is tapped away nicely by Huggins. It'll come inbound to the Cavaliers.
You saw Todd Penn, and Al, you said this at the top of the show, he'll create turnovers. Todd Penn got inside, no place to go. Just out of exasperation, passed the ball off right to a Virginia man. I think Sampson going to sit down for a rest.
I'm telling you, he's done something. Look at that. 24 points and 9 rebounds, and he was out of the game for about 6 minutes when he injured the ankle. Lewis Lattimore's come back in, scored 5 while he was out.
He's 20 years of age, and he's the most valuable player in the NIT last year.
Cavaliers disappointed, did not go to the NCAA playoffs, but did go to the Garden, and they won the NIT. Now as we're down inside 30 seconds to play in the first half, it's 44-27. Virginia playing for a shot. Gates looks at Lamp down low. Here's a steal. Nicely done by Penn. Terry Gates.
Penn's tough.
They've made a lot of changes in the back line trying to find that chemistry, get the leadership they lost in Kelvin Ramsey.
There's the turn, Al, you're talking about. Most fellas either can spin right or left. Sampson that time came back, did the left. Normally, if he goes right, he likes to also come across with that hook shot.
I'm surprised they don't front him and drift off the weak side. If they're not going to go to
the lob
zone.
and try to knock him down a little bit.
Yeah, well, the weak side man drifts off his man and you get in front of him.
And you know, we haven't had Lamp off the ground much today, but he's an all-American caliber ball player. But of course, Sampson has been such a factor that Lamp hadn't had to get in the offense.
Lamp is just 13 points away from 2,000 career points. So he's the guy they give the ball to when the game's on the line down the stretch. He can really deliver when the pressure's on. Lattimore fires it up just before the first half comes to an end. And Virginia, after trailing early in the game, gets one of the great performances ever from Ralph Sampson. He goes for 24 first half points, and UVA leads the game 44-29.
In business, you have only so much time. Don't fall behind. Make your time more productive through the Bell Network, the world's most advanced information management system. With long distance, you can call ahead for appointments, resolve service problems, sell your smallest accounts. You are already part of the network. Use it. Put our knowledge to work for you. The Information Management Network from Bell.
State Farm and life insurance. More and more people are putting them together because the agent who handles their other family insurance is probably the best agent for their life insurance too. We know our customers. We know their problems and their needs because we see them on a regular basis. The good neighbor idea is a great idea when it comes to life insurance.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's life insurance, the State Farm way.
Hey, you're driving half a car. To prove Haviland Supreme gives cars engine protection up front. I know, but... Well, you should know. It delivered proven protection in punishing state trooper testing. Yeah, but... Where's the rest of my car? Yeah. Here it comes. To prove Texaco's Haviland Supreme delivered improved mileage, too. Upfront protection backed by improved mileage. That's Haviland Supreme. Do me a favor. I know. Prove how good Haviland is in the next county, huh? All right.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend, all America style. Americans love weekends, not just the Saturday and Sunday kind, but whenever we take time to enjoy the good things in life, like the smooth and mellow taste of Michelob. Because all over America, Michelob helps make any time feel a little like a weekend.
Hey, put a little weekend in your week.
Yeah.
From Shogun to sitcoms to Who Shot JR, Tom Brokaw and Hal Linden take a look at 1980, the whole TV year. A 2-hour All-Star TV Guide special Monday.
Back at Virginia, it has been the Ralph Sampson show. The big guy has had a spectacular first half, and UVA is leading Ohio State 44-29. Al, have you ever seen anything like this in a while?
No, he busted out. He has 24 points, about 7-8 rebounds. If Ohio State doesn't come out the first 5 minutes, it's all over.
Well, we'll be back very shortly. The score at halftime, 44-29 Virginia.
On February 12th, the biggest television series of the season premieres. 3 years in the making. Gangster Chronicles, spanning 70 years. The story of 3 men who grew up in the streets and decided to own them. Lucky Luciano, Bugsy Siegel, Michael Lasker. Their friendship, their women. Their often tragic lives. Gangster Chronicles.
It's time now for a tremendous moment for every American. The hostages come home. Let's go to Lee McCarthy of NBC News at Stewart Airport.
And runner-up finishes in the ACC.
This is Stewart Field in Newburgh, New York, where we are awaiting the arrival of the airplane carrying the 52 freed American hostages. The airplane has made one pass of the field. It is in the area, but it has not come into sight yet. It is a C-137, a 707 that has been converted for military use. We are at a location at the extremity of the airfield because this is where the State Department wants us. The building you see in the center is Stewart 1, is the hangar where the families of the hostages have been waiting for about an hour, a little more than an hour. We expect the plane carrying the hostages to taxi to the front of that building, There is some idea that the one plane you see has been left there to further block our view. That being the case simply because both the State Department and the hostages have expressed a desire to have cameras as far away as possible. With me is NBC News correspondent Bob Jameson, who has been on the streets of Newburgh today. What's the mood out there today, Bob?
Lee, from the moment the hostages, the returning hostages and their families leave this former Air Force base, they will realize that it is a celebration and not the low-key welcome that the State Department wanted. But here is the plane
Should emerge from the tree line in just a second. And a cheer goes up from the crowd here on what is called Rocket Hill, on the edge of Stewart Field in Newburgh, New York. The hostage relatives were brought in this afternoon in 3 Air Force planes. They were all parked in front of Building 1, Stewart 1. 2 were moved, but as I said a moment ago, the 3rd was left in a direct line of sight here from the hill.
I noticed that they were already referring, Lee, to this plane today as Freedom 1.
Freedom 1. Now, if he follows the practice of the 707 that came in earlier, he'll move very slowly and deliberately down. The first 707 that came in moved all the way down near a hangar that right now is out of view. It is farther down the tarmac from Stewart 1 and then turn around. His other option is to just come in slowly and stop on the far side of the DC-9. Is that, Bob, that's in the foreground there?
It's the military version of the DC-9. It's referred to by the Air Force as a C-9. Part, it looks like, of the presidential wing from Andrews Air Force Base.
There was a small crowd, I would say a few hundred people maybe, that managed to get into Stewart Field to line the route that they expect the buses to follow. But there are many more people out in the street outside, are there not?
People have been lining up all day long here in this part of New York State to welcome the returning hostages home. Several of the towns that dot the route that their buses will take from here to the military academy at West Point have arranged impromptu celebrations with the hope that the returning hostages will somehow stop, but officials do not expect that to happen. There are American flags of every size, shape, and variety being displayed by people of every age the 20 miles from here to the point at which the reunited families and the former hostages will be put up for the night at the Thayer Hotel on the grounds of the military academy at West Point. Beginning early yesterday morning, Lee, townspeople spontaneously started decorating the little villages, particularly Highland Falls, the one which is adjacent to the military academy. And so they have planned quite a celebration, a hero's welcome. And it's more than curiosity on the part of the people who have come out. It is a genuine feeling which has brought them out to share this emotional return. And it's
he
now
appears
about
to be taking the first option there, and it looked like the plane was going to start to move behind the other Air Force jet. Maybe not.
We were told yesterday, Lee, in a visit to Stewart Field, that he would park near Gate 3, that this Air Force jet would be parked near Gate 3. The hostages' families would be inside watching it with the option to come out and meet their family members at planeside or to wait inside the terminal, where about a 30-minute reunion would take place before they would board the buses. Incidentally, those buses have smoked glass windows.
They've taken every precaution. They really want it to be a very private affair. The buses have been here since about 11:45.
West Point was, the Thayer Hotel at West Point was closed to the public yesterday evening, where the returned hostages and their families will be spending 2 nights. And they brought in extra MPs to secure much of West Point, which is accessible to the public under normal times.
Right.
One Army official said to me yesterday that it would be tougher to get into the Thayer Hotel today than it would be the Super Bowl without a ticket. A group of people standing on what looks like a material handling truck of some sort, waving at the plane as it moves slowly into its parking position.
Another cheer went up here on the hill as the writing United States of America became very clearly evident on the side of the plane as it turned. Now it appears he is going to rotate that door away from our position, the exit door.
I can't tell
Maybe
from
not,
this
he's
distance.
stopping.
I can't tell from this distance which way the ground handler is trying to get him to turn, but there are several people already on the tarmac, and now they are moving into place the ramp carried on the back of a truck, and there are a number of people dressed in civilian clothes who are following that truck up to the airplane. And the back door is already open.
There don't appear to be great numbers of people, however, leaving the hangar.
First off,
first people are off the plane, and here come the families.
those first people off were a group of Air Force officers or enlisted men, it appeared.
That is quite a sizable group that's gathering at the tarmac, however.
The families appear to be lined up, not in single file, but 2 by 2, approaching the front of the airplane. And some of them are heading toward the rear stairway. A Marine saluting smartly as he stepped from the plane. Another and another. It appears that one of the 2 women hostages is waving.
So far, all the activity is at the front door.
We are quite some distance, I think we should explain, Lee. Would you guess?
There don't appear to be great numbers of people, however, leaving the hangar.
First off,
first people are off the plane, and here come the families.
Those first people off were a group of Air Force officers or enlisted men, it appeared.
That is quite a sizable group that's gathering at the tarmac, however.
The families appear to be lined up, not in single file, but 2 by 2, approaching the front of the airplane. And some of them are heading toward the rear stairway. A Marine saluting smartly as he stepped from the plane. Another and another. It appears that one of the 2 women hostages is waving.
So far, all the activity is at the front door.
We are quite some distance, I think we should explain, Lee. Would you guess this is more than 1,000 yards?
1,500 maybe.
And even with binoculars, it is very difficult to, binoculars and telephoto lenses, it is difficult to tell what's going on. But we can see the first embraces taking place on the tarmac at the foot of the plane. But of course, it is impossible to identify any of the people involved as the rest of the 52 returnees continue to come out of the front of the airplane and down the stairs.
It appears at this moment they're all going to use that front door.
The plane made a very pretty pass over the field at 10 minutes to 3 Eastern time. The sun sparkling off of the silver and white fuselage, and then landed about 3 minutes later. There are waves and salutes and embraces taking place just out of camera range.
Of all the 14 long months of captivity, it could be that one of the toughest moments is waiting at the top of that ramp when you see your loved one for the first time in a long, long time.
This was quite a trip today, which began before 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 10 hours ago, and will not end for perhaps another 45 minutes to an hour when the returning hostages and their families are delivered by bus to the Thayer Hotel on the grounds of the Military Academy at West Point. All of this is to be strictly private. The State Department saying it was following the wishes of a consensus of the hostages, has barred television cameras and reporters from access to the grounds here and at the hotel, where they will spend 2 nights before going to Washington for the ceremonies there on Tuesday afternoon. However, the hostages have promised a news conference for those who wish to participate on Tuesday morning here at West Point. We do not know who or how many.
It's strictly a voluntary meeting with the press.
Ali, I wonder if they're still going to go inside and continue their reunions inside the terminal.
I don't know. They've moved the buses a couple of times from the first time they brought them in. The last time I saw them, they were over by Stewart 1, so theoretically they could go right from where they are and get on the buses. But there was supposed to be about a half an hour inside the building, as I recall.
Some people are reboarding the airplane, but we can't tell precisely who they are. They may just be people concerned with the servicing of the aircraft, which has made this a 3,000-mile plus journey today. It seems that everyone between here and West Point wants to take part in this celebration and say, hello, welcome home, thank you, we love you. If people have not displayed yellow ribbons outside their homes, they've tied them onto their clothing.
Everything in Newburgh seems to have a yellow ribbon on it. They've tied a huge one around the airport tower this morning in preparation for the arrival. You've been able to tell with your binoculars whether all of the 52 are off the plane?
Well, it seems that they are, although there is still an Air Force, someone from the Air Force standing at the top of the ramp to direct traffic, and it does not appear that this long line of people extending from the left away from the airplane, who would appear to be the families, does not appear that the returning hostages, the people aboard that airplane, have made their way down even to the halfway point of what we can see. I would think that they would be off that plane even quicker than businessmen off a normal shuttle flight. The first off appeared to be some of the Marine Guards from the embassy, who saluted smartly and moved crisply down the stairway. In uniform, not in the parkas that they had been wearing in the pictures we had seen from Germany, but in Marine Corps uniform.
When the immediate reunion is over, the families and the ex-hostages will board 6 buses, which, as you said, have smoked windows on them. It's a 17-mile trip from here at Stewart Field to the Academy at West Point. State policeman said today that's a drive a bus normally makes in 20 minutes, but because of the way the people have lined the roads and would like the ex-hostages to stop, they have no idea how long it's going to take.
And the first crowd that they will encounter is barely a half a mile from where the reunions are taking place now at the gate to Stewart Field, and will continue broken in spots but nearly unbroken all the way through the populated area of Newburgh. There will be some breaks along what we believe to be Route 9W that they will take, but when they reach Windsor, New York, about halfway between here and where they will spend the evening at West Point, 52 American flags have been erected on one side of the highway as they head south. 8 American flags at half-staff representing the memory of those airmen killed in the aborted rescue attempt last April, standing on the other side of the highway. West Point has turned out in style, only exceeded perhaps by the joyous atmosphere in Highland Falls, the little town that is right next to West Point, and they are planning quite a sumptuous brunch at West Point for the hostages and their families. The largest crowd is probably at the Thayer Gate of West Point, which is where the village of Highland Falls and the military academy property meets. Normally, this is a place where people do not slow down, but it is accessible to the public, and people going from one point to another in this part of New York State will drive right through the academy. But there is a large crowd gathered there today, displaying American flags, and of course, yellow ribbons in profusion. They sprouted like spring crocuses around here the last couple of days.
A couple people raised the question is, why are certain people getting back on the plane, but we're so far away we just can't tell who they are. Look for some kind of explanation why they might be reboarding. Just perhaps the flight crew.
It appears that there are a substantial number of people who have been on and off the plane since it's been there, and speculation might include that there were some hostages who wanted to greet their relatives on the airplane and
privately. Yeah.
We keep calling them hostages, but they are no longer hostages.
The ex-hostages. There are, in addition to the 6 the buses in the caravan, as I counted them when they came in, 4 trucks, which they've appear to have already loaded one of. It's for the luggage, and I assume the goods that were bought on the buying spree at Wiesbaden. And also, I'm told they stopped today at Shannon Airport in Ireland on their way back and did some shopping.
They stopped at the Shannon Freeport and were met by the Irish Prime Minister and were given gifts from the government of Ireland. Flowers have already begun to arrive for some of the returning hostages and their families at the Thayer Hotel. Several floral shops said yesterday that they began to get orders and expected to be deluged today. The first several to arrive were a couple of plants, one for all of the 52 returning Americans. Notre Dame College in New Hampshire, as an example, sent 52 roses to the hotel, one for each of the returning Americans.
There's an interesting thing developing here in front of us, which the viewers can't see right now, but that is there an exodus from Stewart Field has begun. People who were higher on the hill just wanted to be here to see the plane come in. They can't see the hostages that closely, and they know the plane is down, and so they've started on their way back into Newburgh and out of Stewart Field.
This is actually a better view of the return than we thought we would have, when the State Department said it wanted it strictly private and wanted none of the emotion shared with other people. It appears now that everyone has moved away from the airplane and is now gathering in little groups.
That long line is starting to break up a little bit.
Perhaps representing family units. There are some military people coming off of the rear exit of the plane. It appears that no one is coming off any longer the front, although several people are making their way down the stairs.
This process will continue for several minutes. NBC News will have continuing coverage throughout the day. And tonight at 11:30, 10:30 Central Time, NBC News will present a special report on the return of the hostages. And now back to basketball and Don Criqui.
Because of the return of the American hostages and the coverage of it, College Basketball Report was not seen today. It will be on at its regular time at halftime next week on NBC. We'll be back to the University of Virginia in a moment. Right now, this word from your local stations.
Monday on Little House, can Mary save her best friend from marrying the wrong man?
Do you love Herzl? No.
Then, from Shogun to sitcoms to Who Shot JR, Tom Brokaw and Hal Linden take a look at 1980, the whole TV year. A 2-hour all-star TV guide special Monday on NBC.
And we're back now at the University of Virginia, University Hall. Ohio State's Buckeyes in red, trailing the University of Virginia 53-43. The Buckeyes have started to ease back into this game.
I think what's happening out here in the last 4.5 minutes is that Virginia has become complacent. They moved up for about 17 points, but Ohio State is in the top 15 in the country. They're a tough ball club.
Ohio State's Carter Scott has hit 6 points in Ohio State's rally. And Ralph Sampson, who scored 24 first-half points for Virginia to lead them to that 15-point halftime lead, has only 2 in the second half. So Ohio State, a great road team historically under Eldon Miller in his 5 seasons there as head coach, has rallied back and is down by just 8 with 15:25 to play. We'll be back at the University of Virginia after this.
This bud's for the guys who take all the heat for us.
This bud's for you. This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
Hey, this bud's for you.
When's the last time you heard about a price reduction on a best-selling car? Well, Chevrolet comes through with a price reduction on the popular Chevy Chevette. Yes, a sticker price reduction on every 81 Chevy Chevette. 2-door, 4-door, and scooter. As prices everywhere go up and up, you can actually save money on the already economical Chevy Chevette. With its big 30 EPA estimated miles per gallon, Chevy Chevette is the best-selling small car in America, foreign or domestic. Now, an even tougher value to beat.
There's a hungry kind of feeling, and every day it grows. You know there's so much more to you than anybody knows.
In the Army, we do more before 9 a.m. than most people do all day.
All that you can.
Hey, First Sergeant. Good morning.
'Cause we need you in the Army.
Let's do something romantic.
It's their anniversary.
I thought we were buying a frying pan.
A fancy restaurant.
Let's send out some flowers.
A dark restaurant with candles.
Music. Where are we gonna find that?
Hold it, hold it.
Matching wallet.
Hold it. The first step is the yellow pages.
The Bell System Yellow Pages, the first step to help you plan a celebration. Before you waste time and energy, take the first step. Let your fingers do the walking through the Bell System Yellow Pages.
Dad, we may have to borrow some money. Oh.
With Coach Al McGuire and Billy Packer, this is Don Quickie back at the University of Virginia. 14:48 to play in the game. Virginia unbeaten and ranked second in the whole country with 15 straight wins. Its lead now down to 8 points. Here comes Ohio State again. Buckeyes were down by 17 early in the second half, and now they've rallied back to within 8. They can cut it to 6.
How about that? Down to 6. Herb Williams coming back. He's got 4 fouls on him. He's been switched off of Sampson. They've got Smith now on Sampson. Smith also in some foul trouble, but Virginia lost all of their concentration at halftime.
Our statistician Marty Aronoff points out that
beautiful block.
Great rejection. Here comes the Ohio State Buckeyes again, looking to cut it to 4. Ohio State hitting over 60% in the second half. Can't get that one to go. Jeff Jones brings the ball up court for Virginia.
Ralph Sampson seems to be tiring.
Oh, that goes. That's a big comebacker. Al, I think what happens to Sampson an awful lot is he loses that first win, you know, and it takes him a while to get the second win. Sometimes you see him substituted quickly at the start of a half.
Oh, that was a big basket. Jeff Jones, you know, he had an operation on his knee after they won the NIT last year, so he played hurt all last year, and he's the glue that keeps them together.
Sampson has only 2 second-half points after scoring 24 in the first half when Virginia built up the 15-point lead.
Jones has only shot this year 53 times, which is right at around 3 a game. But he handles the ball well for him and keeps everybody in the offense.
He's the son of a coach.
Carter Scott showing you what he's made up of inside. He's really brought his team back. Tight zone now. Everything falling.
That was a cry.
Oh, Larry Huggins. Ohio State really showing some guts here, the way they're coming back. Smith is keeping Sampson away from the basket. That could be number 5 on Williams, away from the ball.
That's curtains.
Well, that's going to hurt. The center for Ohio State, Herb Williams.
He can't believe it, and I'll tell you what, you hate to see a guy of that caliber taken out of the ball game on a touch foul away from the ball. I realize, you know, that's the rules of the game, but still he, you know, it was no big push, no big shove, just trying to get some position. And Williams going to sit down. There'll be another day for this big guy.
Yeah, well, he sat down a little bit the first half. There's 13 minutes and 24 seconds left. So all in all, Billy, he probably only played about 19 minutes in the whole game.
That's right. Very unfortunate for Ohio State, but I have a feeling that we're seeing Ohio State in the second half show the guts that they've got. And I think in the Big Ten or any of the great leagues around the country, that's what it's going to take to be the difference between first place and lesser rank.
This is remarkable. Ohio State with 4 games in 8 days and 3 games in the last 72 hours. Having defeated Michigan last night, flies in here this morning, down by 15. Look like they're going to be blown away, and they're right back in it.
Eldon Miller better hurry up. You've got 30 seconds to get somebody in the game this year, and he's taking his time.
The way it works, Billy, the ref comes over to the scorer's table, right, and says count 30 seconds.
Right. I think he got more than 30 out of that deal, but he was very fortunate. Technical foul, and that's a 2-shot technical.
You got Mitch Haas in the game for Ohio State. Down low they go to Sampson, looking for a second.
Oh! A turnaround, dipsy-do, dunk.
Jim Williams wondering, Jim Smith wondering where in the world did he go?
So it's 58-49.
Nice
UVA in the lead. Here's a foul call down low with 13:05 to play in the game.
Are we going to see a move on the baseline here? Incredible. Smith came right back. You know,
there he is. But you notice how they always keep their eye on the rim. That's the key to doing anything when you're backwards.
Al McGuire, how would you compare Ralph Sampson with Kareem at the same age when he was a sophomore at UCLA?
A push. Kareem had better training because he played in the biggest city where there's more ball players. But there will be a day when Ralph Sampson will be better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I never thought I'd say that. Now that's maybe 10 years away from now, but someday he will rewrite the record books.
He's a lot more physical this year, Sampson.
He's still a year away from pro. He just doesn't have the strength.
Jeff Jones brings the ball up, pulls up and hits the jumper, and UVA opens up a 10-point lead with 12:50 left to play.
And I think it's a smart move by Terry Holland to start picking up a little bit quicker. Get his team emotionally back in the game.
Sampson the leading scorer with 28. Williams fouled out with 10. He was high scorer for Ohio State. Kellogg has 8. Scott has 8.
Haas had a couple of good shooting tries in the first half. Kellogg wants it inside.
Sure does. He likes that baseline down low. Here's Clark Kellogg. The ball is hacked away, but so is Clark Kellogg.
I think that was Wilson that committed the foul. He reached in.
Yep. We've said this before, but so many times for young players, when you're going to reach in on a man in the pivot area, reach in from underneath the ball, not coming down over the top.
When you reach in, anytime you attack, you should close your hand, because a closed hand makes no sound. An open hand makes a sound, and officials call by sound as often as they call by sight. That's a tip from the top.
Excellent.
That's a waste of time is what that was.
No, it isn't, Billy. No. Always attack from the bottom with a closed fist.
Hey, Don, next time you're doing a boxing match, take Al and tell him that a closed fist makes noise.
No, it doesn't make a sound. It hits another hand. Matter of fact, if I had a ball player trapped by 2 players, I'd have him put the ball in one hand and slap himself with the other hand. And that would make a sound. All right.
Lee Raker pulls up for Virginia, gets his own rebound right back up, and the big guy from Louisville, Kentucky. Charge.
What a call.
Buckeyes get it back.
He actually was fouled on the first jump shot himself. That's 4 on Raker. Virginia getting a little trouble.
Ohio State's all Big Ten center Herb Williams is already fouled out of this game. He's gone with 11:59 left to play in Virginia, leading 60-50.
Why have over 1 million people Midas-sized their brakes? Was it because they know Midas has brake mechanics that are specially trained? Was it because they know Midas has the right brake parts in stock? Or was it because they know Midas has over 20 years experience under the car? Well, whatever the reason, it certainly was no accident. It pays to Midasize your brakes.
This bud's for everyone who wraps it, stacks it, and sacks it.
This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This bud's for you.
When some people send a package by Federal Express for the first time, they never expect it to work. They're so used to getting chewed out for not getting a package there the next day, they expect it to happen with Federal, too. So they wait. And they wait. And they wait. And they wait. For the complaint that never comes. Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
Bryant Gumbel live in New Orleans, Louisiana. You're looking down on the scene. A beautiful day, and the dome is the Louisiana Superdome, site of Super Bowl 15. People clad in green and white, clad in silver and black, crowded down into the French Quarter, getting prepared for the biggest game, the final game of this 1980 football season. It's a clash that figures to be a good one. It's the NFC champion Eagles against the AFC champion Raiders. We'll be getting to that right after the basketball game. Let's go back to Don Cricket.
Thank you, Brian. Down on the Delta is where it's happening today, and NBC is there for live coverage of Super Bowl 15. Right now, Ohio State down at one point in the second half, 40-23, has rallied back. The Buckeyes trail 60-52 with 11:26 left to play against unbeaten Virginia. The Cavaliers in white with the ball, and Sampson heading for perhaps his greatest scoring day ever. His career high is 32. He has 28. Now he has 30. And it's a 10-point lead again for Virginia.
While we were gone, Jim Smith scored from underneath for Ohio State.
Smith is really showing some guts, too. He and Carter Scott realizing when Williams out of the game, they've got to really work. Kellogg playing hard in there. Kellogg now playing in the low post area.
Carter Scott pulls up, and Kellogg, the top rebounder in the Big Ten, one of the great offensive rebounders ever in that conference or anywhere, a sophomore from Cleveland, follows the shot up, and the Buckeyes are back to within 8.
Ohio State really doing a great job in the second half.
Gates looks down low, goes to Jeff Lamp, off to Sampson. He gets all of it and ties his career high with 32 points.
That's a great pass by Lamp inside. Jim Smith went over for the double team. Lamp gets a steal.
So the Cavaliers, with the Sampson slam, open up a 10-point lead, now looking to extend it to 12.
That's going to be on Haas. We'll see the slam here. Beautiful pass by Lamp. Boy, Sampson looked that rim right with the eyes.
Every bit of it.
He looked down at the rim.
So with 10:23 left to play in the game, Ralph Sampson now has these numbers for the day: 14 of 19 field goal attempts, 4 of 6 free throws, 32 points, tying his career high, 12 rebounds. He's blocked 2.
You know, you get the feeling Virginia's got this ball game, but Ohio State keeps coming back. They're right in it again.
Gates
nice
is
play
rejected
by
down
Kellogg.
low. Very nice play by Clark Kellogg at the defensive end for Ohio State. Larry Huggins goes out. Here's Carter Scott pulling up for the jump shot. Sampson lost the ball coming down. Jim Smith contending with him for it. Rule last touch by Jim Smith. So here come the Cavaliers down the floor with 10 minutes to play in the game. Virginia's got some big games coming up. Wake Forest comes in here once beaten on Wednesday night. February 3rd. Virginia goes against North Carolina.
Jimmy Smith went up there that time.
Well, Haas did a good job. No, Huggins rather did a good job confusing Sampson when he made that whirl on the hook shot, and Smith was right with him. You'll see, Huggins makes this play. Watch him. Right in there, took it a little bit off of Sampson. Smith came down, showed what a leaper he is. Campbell now playing against Lamp.
Look at that build. Only a junior.
Yeah, you might have to rearrange that lineup on your all-aircraft carrier team. What's the lineup?
Well, I first go back to yesteryear. I put George Mikan. I think George Mikan could still play today. I put, obviously, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I put the Wall, Wilt Chamberlain, the Dipper, the Great Dipper. I put Ralph Stick Sampson.
He made the team.
Those are the 5 guys. I got one guy, my 6th man. He's in dry dock and mothballs now and then. Is Walt.
Wasn't bad either. We'll be back to Virginia after this.
Head & Shoulders doesn't have it. Selsun Blue doesn't have it. Only Denerex has it. An extra relief medicine to stop dandruff itch. You can feel it tingle.
All 3 have one medicine for dandruff itch, but only Denerex adds a second medicine, an exclusive anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
You can feel it tingle. That's extra relief medicine, and only Denerex has it.
In regular or New Mountain Fresh Herbal, Denerex stops dandruff itch with an extra relief medicine.
Oh, Mr. Goodwrench, can I get a tune-up?
Sure can.
What's that?
Your written estimate.
Mr. Goodwrench wants you to know in advance just about how much the job will cost. He has the GM training and tools available to do the job right.
Gee, that's reasonable.
Mr. Goodwrench knows our customers don't like surprises.
Keep that great GM feeling.
Where Mr. Goodwrench works.
With genuine GM parts.
Back at the University of Virginia, Don Quickie with Al McGuire and Billy Packer. Billy, you wanted Al to go over that aircraft carrier team again, I think.
Well, as is usually the case, Al has a hard time counting. But I want to be, in all fairness to him, and Wilt would love the fact that he has Wilt on the team and doesn't have Russell on the team. But in fairness to Al, Bill Russell, who certainly has to go down as the greatest winner of all time in the center position, already was on Al's team.
Yeah, that's the starting 5, and Walton was my substitute. And Billy usually counts the best 6 teams in the country on one hand.
Sampson put up an air ball on a foul shot earlier in the second half. Let's see how he does now. On the money.
I once asked George Mikan how he thought he'd do against a player like Kareem. He said it'd be tough to guard. He said, but he'd have to stop me too.
Yeah, George Mikan had a big rear end and used to get that low post position. At that time, the 3 seconds wasn't as wide as it is today.
11-point lead. Kellogg still tough in low.
Oh, he's quick too.
Oh, what a block.
But a great defensive play by the Cavaliers, and Sampson comes up with the ball. Here comes Virginia on the run. Jeff Jones brings it down court. Semi-break down low. They go to Lamp. Up over the defense. He hits it. And Virginia opens up a 13-point lead, 67-54.
Eldon Miller's upset because Sampson's hitting the backboard on those shots, and I think he's right.
Jeff Lamp now scored 10. He had only 3 in the first half.
He just hit it again. Yeah, he keeps hitting the backboard each time.
That time they called a foul.
Yeah, it's about time. He causes the backboard to vibrate.
Here we see Kellogg backing in. Now, this is the one Sampson got right before that. He actually caught that ball to hit off the rim. Watch this reverse. Oh, we just missed it. He made a reverse dribble pivot. Sensational play. Going to see full court pressure. At least Ohio State would like full court pressure if they have a made foul shot here.
Well, they need these 2 bad.
Down by 13 and now down by 12. And we remind you again, if you need reminding, if you're a football fan, you probably do not. Way down yonder in New Orleans, the biggest game in football is a few hours away now. And from Virginia, we'll be going right to Bryant Gumbel with the super edition of NFL 81. Oakland is this man's pick. Coach McGuire is going with.
And Billy, I think Billy, you're going with Philly because he came from Pennsylvania.
That's right.
You're going with Oakland now.
Yeah, I'm going with Oakland, 27-17.
Here's Sampson down low.
Oh, the block by Smith. It should have been called a goaltend, but a beautiful play.
Which way are you going to call that, Billy?
That's a charge.
That's right.
That's a charge.
Great defensive play by freshman Tim Stokes. His brother, Bobby Stokes, was a fine player at Virginia. He's now in Virginia Medical School.
Well, the play right before there, Sampson did that little sky lob. We'll see it right here. Now watch this. This ball's going down. That's going down.
No,
you can't block that.
Billy.
Hey, we'll see the charge right now.
Don't be going ACC crazy.
No, I'm not going ACC crazy. That's a charge. Good play, and Huggins had no place to go.
And how about the play before that?
Goaltend, definitely.
Oh, God. You're going wacky.
Jones comes into the lane, puts it up for Virginia. Cavaliers extend their lead again to 13, 69-56.
That's the second big shot Jones has made in this run.
Jim Smith puts a couple of moves on, can't get it to go down. Side court, Kellogg gets it. They're really hawking it.
Oh! Elbow. Put.
Clark Kellogg saying, Mr. Official.
We'll see the play again, Don. Now watch this. You're going to see Smith jump right under the rim here and block that shot. Certainly it's on its way down. And might have even
Billy, will the director please show that again?
Here we see the elbow now. Put him down, didn't he? Strong fella.
Yeah. Okay, let's forget that.
Looks like the Ohio State offensive line, the size they have up front. Of course, one of the key people is gone. Herb Williams fouled out early in the second half.
That's a foul going to be on Carter Scott, away from the ball again.
Carter Scott, his third foul.
Al, you said before the game started, officiating have a lot to do with it. I think probably Sampson took away some of the degree that the officiating might have had on the game, but they're calling it a lot tighter now than they did the opening.
Yeah, they're controlling the game, and it's just a style. The rules are the same all over the country, but the officials in certain parts of the country favor certain things. They don't interpret the rules the same throughout the country.
90% free throw shooter, and it's nice to have that kind of guy on the line, particularly if he handles the ball a lot late in the game.
Jones looking for his 9th point. He gets it. And UVA up by 17 early in the second half, so its lead cut to 8 points. And now they rally back and extend it to 15 points again. And we'll be back at University Hall after this.
Gordy, who? You switched to natural light.
Sure, natural light tastes better to me. That's why I switched.
And it's all natural ingredients. Tell me, Gordy, now that you've retired, life's a little more peaceful, huh?
Much more.
2 natural lights, please.
Give me a check.
Check.
Natural light. Taste is why you'll switch.
I'm learning to take it easy.
Him too. Check.
Half the houses in America still don't have enough insulation. So to ease the pain of high fuel and electric bills, smart homeowners are adding more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation. Up in the attic, on walls exposed to cold or heat, under floors and unheated crawl spaces. Put your house in the pink too. Add more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation today.
Next Saturday, see 5th ranked Kentucky, led by 7'1" Sam Bowie, take on Georgia, or Nevada, Las Vegas battle Georgetown, followed by exciting regional action. Check local listings.
Ralph Sampson, who many feel is the premier player perhaps ever in the college game, or ultimately will be, has led Virginia with 33 points, and the Cavaliers are up 71-56 with 8:01 left to play in the game.
Well, they got to make a run very, very soon. They're down 15 points, and they got to get it down to about 8 points with 4 minutes to go. Or otherwise, it's curtains.
Don, next week we've got DePaul, Syracuse back up there in Chicago in the game. And last night at Syracuse, 23,913 fans showed up at the Carrier Dome, the all-time record. So those people in Lexington, Kentucky, are going to have to figure out how to get about 600 or 700 more in there to bust that record again.
Syracuse sets the record. They're not done yet. When they get the NCAA playoffs in there some year, they'll go beyond that. Place seats 50 for football.
I know those UK fans will find some way to get about 700 or 800 more people in there at Rupp Arena.
You know what I like down at the Super Bowl? I really enjoy that we have the blimp down there. I don't think anyone told them that we're playing football indoors.
7:50 to go in this game. 4 o'clock Eastern time. We switch to New Orleans. And a super edition of NFL 81. Super Bowl 15, the Raiders and the Eagles. Right about now, these guys are heading into the ball yard.
Nice tap.
Here's Tim Stokes going to the basket. Little guy puts it up.
Boy, Campbell was going for the block all the way as opposed to getting defensive positioning. Although Stokes is small, he also is a great athlete. He took it to him.
Look at him next to Sampson. Looks like his son.
You know, so many times, Don, and here we'll see it right here. Stokes had no plan whatsoever to do anything other than take it to the basket. Campbell showed you what kind of leaper he is. Don, so many times in recruiting, people go after the superstars. And Al, you might have been one of the best at this of anybody in the country to go for the complementary type players. And in Wilson and Stokes, Virginia got two guys that give them a dimension of quickness, which changed their whole concept around.
Well, it's a blended type play, but where they fell flat on their face this year, they should have recruited a power forward to complement Sampson. They didn't get it this year.
But they have extended the lead now, 72-56 says Virginia.
They're getting, I'll tell you, this game, it really is. What's happened down there tonight, Smith and Gates have been going after each other. And what happened, Gates taking it out a little bit here on Carter Scott. Now, I don't know if I see anybody in college basketball wants too much of Jim Smith.
Well,
I wouldn't think so.
Terry Gates is 6'6". He's a big guy, and he gives his body each game. He usually fouls out of the ball game.
Well, Smith and Sampson pushing a little bit. There's Gates. He gets hit by Scott. The game getting a little physical under there now. And you know how Ohio State's got to be frustrated. They made a nice comeback.
Terry Gates, a 6'6" senior from Louisville, mixing it up underneath. He played on the same high school team as Jeff Lamp and Lee Raker, two of his teammates.
And Jerry Eves at Louisville, and that Louisville club's starting to come back now.
Remarkable thing about Terry Gates, in one game this year, he fouled out after 7 minutes of play. Now that's a record.
That's quick. It's the Ray Felix Award.
I don't know if people remember Ray Felix.
Thumbs Felix.
Man-to-man now, pulling everybody out. Sampson's going to be one-on-one with Smith. That's
right. That call was right. The other one you made was not good.
Anytime he shoots down in that close to the basket, it's on the way down when he releases.
The one before, he was given a fingertip roll. This one here, you're right.
Look at the timing by Smith. Fun to watch, even though it was not a good illegal play, rather.
Our producer today is Ken Edmondson, our director John Gonzalez, as we have 7:13 left to play at University Hall in Virginia. The #2 team in the country, the Virginia Cavaliers. 15-0 on the season, 20-0 dating back to last season when they swept through the NIT with 5 victories. Down low, Kellogg spins off, and Clark Kellogg, a sophomore forward, one of the best. Brings Ohio State back to within 14 points.
Nice ball fake by Lamp.
He's so mobile, Billy.
Yeah,
he has so many fakes. The only thing, his body is not there yet as far as complete strength.
I thought Smith did a great job defensively on that play, too, even though he was faked out a little bit. He kept his balance, was there for the rebound.
Sampson now has 35 points. Had 24 in the first half.
Surprisingly, the fellow that took his place when he got hurt, Lattimore, scored 5 points. So they've got 40 points out of their center position.
5 points in a minute he got, did Lewis Lattimore. And you were mentioning something interesting. We were talking basketball a little earlier about playing without the ball. That's where most of the game is played for everybody.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't realize this. When you go recruit a ball player, you take a game's 40 minutes long, okay? So each team has the ball 20 minutes. Each player on the team, 5 into 20, each person should have it 4 minutes. You make a substitution, so each person should have the ball about 3.5 minutes. So I'd always look at a ball play and say, what do you do the other 36.5 minutes that you don't have the ball? And a lot of people don't understand that. Very seldom does any one ball player have it more than 4 minutes in his hand in any particular game.
And what's the most important thing you look for, say, at the offensive end without the ball?
I look for quickness. I think quickness is the name of the game. With my big man, I just look at they had good hands, good movement, and if they could jump. I think the big men, if they can hit from outside, it hurts them rather than helping them. Because I think your center belongs within 3 feet of the rim.
That's the second air ball by Sampson today from the foul line.
I think we should take him out and punch him.
And he really can't believe it himself. That's got to be just
showing us he's human, I guess.
A little lack of concentration on his part, because he is a good shooter and has good technique.
His head's floating someplace that time.
36 points for Ralph Sampson.
Kellogg wants that ball down in there. Boy, he's a good-looking player.
Kellogg has 12. Going to have 14 here today.
That's the offensive foul. He's just such a competitor. A great player in high school, a super competitor now as a college athlete, and he just wanted to get back in the action. He's going to sit down, too. Tough break for Ohio State. Look at Kellogg here.
These two guys are putting hurt on each other, I'll tell you that.
Gates just strong enough not to be overpowered there, but certainly it was a charge foul. Kellogg walked over to give the ball to the official that made the call. A little upset. I just think this club will be back in the heat of things in the NCAA playoff. I don't know who in the Big Ten won't be, but this club certainly has got a chance.
I don't think there's any doubt. I think you're going to see 4 or 5 teams from each conference that's out there today in the NCAA.
Well, you know, at the outset of the season, Alan, Billy, one poll had Virginia ranked #1 in a preseason poll and Ohio State 2. So when it comes NCAA playoff time, who's to say where they'll be? Ohio State's getting better, and Virginia's been great since the outset.
I still believe personally that it either has to be DePaul or maybe Oregon State.
And we'll see Oregon State coming across the country against St. John's. I'm really looking forward to seeing them in the raw. I've seen some of their individual players, and they're really outstanding.
They were a 79-71 winner over the University of Washington last night, was #1 Oregon State, so their record is now 15-0. Polls should remain the same this week, at least the top 2. With Oregon State and Virginia running 1-2.
Terry Holland has done a nice job here building kind of a mini dynasty. Now, he started out as assistant coach who led the Griselle at Davidson. Then he coached at Davidson from 1970 to 1974. Came to Virginia here in '75, and this is his 7th year. He's 38 years of age, and he is an outstanding coach.
And he's coaching in really a lovely part of America, nearby the Shenandoah Valley. University of Virginia, founded by Thomas Jefferson.
You know, I'd be willing to say if Virginia played Ohio State again, you'd see Jim Smith start on Sampson defensively so that Herb Williams wouldn't get saddled with that problem of getting foul trouble. There's a foul.
Yeah, we got the all-aircraft carrier team. You played with some of the great teams or against them in the NBA. Who was the greatest all-around basketball player you ever saw?
Mr. O.
Oscar?
Oscar, yeah. When Oscar Robinson played basketball, it was like watching the clinic.
Jerry West says Elgin Baylor.
Elgin Baylor was good, but I just thought Oscar was better.
They both weren't bad.
Sampson.
You know, we've been fortunate to have 2 outstanding games. Notre Dame's big win over Maryland yesterday. I thought they really played well. Digger with that little Chinese zone that he was playing in the second half was really outstanding. A well-coached game. Almost everything he set out to do in that game. Offensive rebounding is one of the things. He wanted a lot of touches. He got that. He wanted good foul shooting. He got that. So the game plan was excellent. And the crowd was excellent yesterday, just as we're seeing here.
Oh, yeah, Digger and Notre Dame have had some big wins against good teams. Kentucky, Indiana, now Maryland.
Digger told me yesterday that one of the top teams in the country that he's seen is San Francisco.
I agree. Boy, that's a well-coached club. They got a young guy out there coaching that team named Barry, who really knows what he's doing. He's got a lot of Al McGuire in him. He's up off the bench throwing coats around, but he has his players ready. Down low, they go to Jim Smith. The big guy puts it off his foot. That kind of hurts, not physically, but ball goes back over to UVA, as they call it, Cavaliers.
That was a Sampson turnover. Exactly. They're all concentrating on where he is in the middle. Look for the lob.
Gates working harder, gets inside and gets 9 points now.
Boy, he's a tough, hard-nosed guy, Billy.
He was a starter last year. Probably really helps Virginia to have a guy like that to come in off the bench that can use the 5 fouls and still battle hard inside.
All he does in there is bang the boards, stay alive, keep the ball alive, complements the team.
Right, keeps the physical players away from Sampson, which helps.
Terry Gates.
We'll be seeing next week, Don, the University of Kentucky going up against Georgia. And in Kentucky, we're going to see some great athletes. And maybe at Georgia, they've got the most exciting player in the country in Dominique Wilkins.
Boy, Kentucky sent some muscle out there. That looks like the UK football team coming out.
Well, really, Joe B. Hall has changed the philosophy of basketball. When he came up with that Roby and...
Yep. Jim Smith trying to slam it down. Didn't work. Here comes
Look at him
Jim
hustle,
Stokes.
though. Oh, what a hustle play by Smith.
That's the complete rejection. He got the ball and he got Stokes.
And he came up with Roby and Phillips to finish on this thing with Kentucky. He changed the game into almost a weightlifting type game, strength underneath, long benches.
I really love to see a player. Now, his team's down 18. He missed the shot down on one end and hustled all the way down the court. The guy's got an awful lot going for him.
They're standing by in New Orleans, and that's where we go next, as Super Bowl 15 is a little over 2 hours away.
Technical foul going to be on Raker. Now, what happened there happens so many times in sports. One guy gets the shove. In retaliation, the second guy pushes, and that's the one the referee sees.
Caught.
He got caught.
Foul is on.
He's really hot.
It's his fifth foul. And the technical.
He's a tough kid, too.
You know, out there, Billy, they're all tough.
Yeah, they are.
This game today has been a nice beginning into the Super Bowl. It's a shame that the score is lopsided.
Terry Gates, number 44.
Very difficult to make this shot. You know why? You're out there alone.
I think that you can put the guys on the line.
Yeah, you don't. When you're out there alone, it's like you're like a city-state. You're like a fiefdom all by yourself. And obviously, in back of the basket, the Virginia student body is waving their pom-poms and making a lot of noise.
Now we're going to see the 1-and-1 shot. What he did is take the 1-1, missed the front end, had an opportunity then to go ahead and shoot his technical and made that. Carter Scott going to sit down. Ohio State players have to be a little bit weary. Playing at Minnesota and then going up against Michigan.
No, they played at Ohio State last night, though.
I know, but I said on the road against Minnesota earlier in the week. So they've had travel 2 out of the 3 games.
Buckeyes beat Michigan last night at St. John's Arena 69-63. Waited until this morning. They're up at 6:30. Flew into Charlottesville. Got a couple hours rest at a nearby motel. Came out to the ball yard. Here they go. They cut the lead down to 8 early in the second half. But then Virginia, with all its muscle and its great player Ralph Sampson, extended the lead. Now is up 78-63 with 4.5 minutes to go. Othel Wilson tries to drive. Huggins tips the ball away.
You know who that was, Don? That's a new player, number 10, a football player.
Right,
that's
Art
the man you've
Schleister.
been looking for.
That's Art Schleister in the game. Number 10, the Ohio State quarterback, and a player many feel is a leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy next season. He was an all-state backcourt player, and that's one of the things when he was selected in college, he wanted to be able to play both sports.
I talked to a lot of people after that game at Ohio State last week, and they thought he would even have a chance if he was not on that football squad to lose that early season practice. He would be a starter at Ohio State in basketball. Must be quite an athlete.
He was coming out this year. The NFL scouts say he'd be the #1 pick, or a lot of them do.
It's really funny, though. You see a football player who looks big on the football field. He looks like just a little guy out there in a basketball court.
He's 6'2", 210 pounds.
Tough shot.
He's up there with the big people, and Ralph Sampson is the biggest in many ways. He's taken over this game, has dominated the game with 4 minutes left to play. 15 rebounds for Ralph Sampson and 36 points.
He and Smith going at each other again. Foul offense.
Scoring record for Virginia is held by Barry Parkhill. He once went for 51.
How many does Lamp have today? Do we have that?
I would say about 7, just taking off the top
Lamp
of my
has
head.
10. Lamp has 10. We'll be back at the University of Virginia after this.
Chevy's $10 million options giveaway is on. Right now, Chevy's giving away a nationwide total of $10 million in options free of charge on specially equipped Caprice Classics and Impalas, Malibus, Camaros, and Monte Carlos. See your Chevy dealer now. Buy a special group of options, and Chevy will give you another group of popular options free of charge. Chevy's $10 million options giveaway is on.
Missile exercise, Atlantic Range.
10025.
Follow your target, over.
Target's now outbound.
The Navy. Over 75% of our jobs give you technical training. Get one.
Target's turning starboard outbound. Over. 2, 1. Fire. Birds away.
Navy. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
On NBC Sports World, see the terrifying speed of World Cup downhill skiing. Plus, the World Pro Figure Skating Championships continue, and World Women's Powerlifting Championships next Sunday.
The Spectrum in Philly is where it'll be happening in March. The NCAA Final Four heads to the Spectrum. Right now, we have 3:55 to play here at the University of Virginia. This is Don Criqui with Al McGuire and Billy Packer. The unbeaten University of Virginia Cavaliers leading Ohio State 80-63. Virginia looking to extend its season record to 16-0, ranked second in the country. Al and Billy, you get called on a lot to give clinics, talk to young people. What do you advise young players?
First thing I advise a young player, that if he's in grade school and he's not the tallest guy in the team or in high school, that he shouldn't play center. Because once the fella gets used to playing with his back towards the basket, he can never move out and start playing facing the basket. And this is also true for young women. And so if you have a son that's in high school and he's 6'2", and they want to play him at center, I'd kind of be questionable about it. Because he cannot move on into college. He cannot adjust becoming a forward or a guard. It's something that you just can't change. I remember years ago, the Knickerbockers, when they got Willis Reed, and they signed up Bellamy, they moved Willis Reed into the corner. They figured, now we got the club. But Willis Reed could only play with his back towards the basket, not facing.
That is a big transition. I think, you know, actually Sampson, he plays looking at the basket a lot. He can play both
what
ways.
physical nature in there to get.
Fabulous. Look at it.
He's trying now to do some things just to show Jim Smith that he can handle him, and that's taken away from Sampson's offense, and of course the Virginia's also.
You know what I think is happening, Billy? I think Ralph knows that when he makes the next big move, the next stand-up ovation, he's coming out. And I think he wants it to be something special.
I'll be honest with you, I think he should come out now because they're going to gain nothing. Push it. There they are shoving each other away from the ball now. I think it'd be smart for Terry Holland to get him out of the ball game. He's got the game won. Nothing can happen now except get hurt.
Well, they got some conversation going there.
Yep, they're really going after each other away from the ball.
Little Othell Wilson feed off. Smith just came in and clobbered Ralph Sampson, so he'll go to the line.
Now Sampson, now they're mouthing at each other. It's really not a good situation out there. It'd be smart to get him out of the ball game.
Our MVP selection, I guess, is by acclamation.
Yeah, we don't have to vote on this.
The most valuable player for today's game is Ralph Sampson of the University of Virginia. Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 check to the General Scholarship Fund of the University of Virginia. This money will be used to assist students in furthering their chosen academic fields of interest. So Ralph Sampson benefits a Virginia student with a show game tonight that was just unbelievable. 37 points, including 15 and 23 shooting. 38 points now, 15 rebounds, 3 block shots.
If you notice his body, Billy, his upper body, that's where I say he's not ready for pros. He has all the moves, and obviously he can play it so long, but he's going to have to play down in the paint, and he's going to have to go against some heavy guys up there in pro ball. I still think he's a year or two away body-wise.
Tony Campbell hitting that last shot for Ohio State. Marcus Miller scored earlier. Eldon Miller going to his bench. He has Art Schleister, the Buckeye quarterback, in the game. Here's Jeff Lamp. Off the baseline, Lamp goes up.
He's fouled. Campbell. I have to wonder why Virginia has a starting lineup in here now. I've got to question that.
Well, it's on national TV, and maybe wants them, to be seen. It's their moment. It's the first time that Virginia, I believe, in Charlottesville has been on a national hookup.
2:16 to play. 82-67 with Jeff Lamp at the free throw line on Super Sunday NBC.
Let us show you the lengths Texaco sometimes has to drill to find more energy. This is New York's World Trade Center. Imagine drilling the length of 15 World Trade Centers. 15 World Trade Centers. That's almost 4 miles. Well, that's how deep Texaco has to drill. 4 miles down at $1 million a mile to find more energy for you here in America. Texaco, working to keep your trust.
Light beer, Mick?
Nah, I switched to natural light.
You switched? A Bronx bummer like you switched.
Yeah, natural light tastes better to me.
And there's nothing artificial in this less-filling beer. It's made with only natural ingredients.
Let's just say natural light's got the taste I swing for. Struck out again.
Hey, don't worry about it, Mick. It's a doubleheader.
Thanks. I'll get him this time.
Natural light. Taste is why you'll switch.
Tuesday on Lobo, male models are being murdered, so Bertie goes nude, but Perkins makes the big splash. Then it's BJ and the Lady Truckers in the finish of the Great Truck Race Tuesday.
1:37 left to play in the game. 83-69. Unbeaten Virginia extending its record with this victory to 16-0 on the year. And they're keeping Sampson in the game.
They are keeping him in the game. Jim Smith just fouling out right there on a off-the-ball foul. The officials really keeping up with that. Going to see Eldon Miller calling the time right here, probably just wanting to get him reorganized and say to him, hey, fellas, we've had a great week. We are an outstanding team. Remember this moment, because we have a chance to come back some other day on some other court.
How do you figure the whole baseline fouling out, though?
I think Sampson caused that. So much pressure he put on him.
So glad you can be with us on this day of celebration for 220 million Americans. The day that our freed hostages came home at 2:50 this afternoon. They touched down at Stewart Airport in Westchester County, New York. And now we have UVA and Ohio State coming down the stretch, and then it's on to New Orleans and Super Bowl 15. Right now we pause for this word from your local stations.
Promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. United serves more of this land than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports. We're proud to bring you the best in sports television.
Tuesday on Lobo, male models are being murdered, so Birdie goes nude, but Perkins makes the big splash. Then it's BJ and the Lady Truckers in the finish of the Great Truck Race Tuesday.
Okay. There's still 2:56
better off
left to
doing
go in
this.
that game. No, it's in about a minute and 15. Standing ovation for Ralph Sampson, taken out of this game with 40 points, 16 rebounds, and 3 block shots as Virginia is up 85-69. This game is not over. 50 seconds left to play. Right now, let's go down to New Orleans to Bryant Gumbel, where they're getting ready for Super Bowl 15. Bryant?
Final showdown of the NFL season, a Super Bowl showdown between the Oakland Raiders and the Philadelphia Eagles. Today, both were of proven championship caliber. 2 months ago, they were simply the league's hottest teams when they collided at Veterans Stadium. Back then, the Raiders took a 7-3 lead as the fourth quarter opened with an 86-yard Jim Plunkett to Cliff Branch touchdown. Robert Montgomery's 3-yard dash capped the Philly drive and a 10-7 Eagles win, a win that put the soaring Eagles into the playoffs. 1 month later, the Raiders, too, were a playoff team. Playing in Oakland, they opened their pursuit of a title by shutting down Houston's Oilers. Lester Hayes completed the 27-7 win and sent the Raiders on to Cleveland. There in the bitter cold, they pounded out a 14-12 lead and then preserved it in the final minute with a Mike Davis interception in the end zone. The Raiders crossed their final bridge in San Diego. This time, the offense was in high gear. The 34-27 verdict made the Raiders truly super. In those